Pichai, you've also been associated with Bishan Paji. Since we were talking about Bishan Paji, he was your coach, and I think that was a very interesting tour as well. Your thoughts on what you learned from the great man?
Yeah, but, no, like we were talking, he had the classical bowling action and then flighted deliveries, and then like you said, flight the ball. Flight the ball is like, no, we don't know how to flight the ball. Right. So me and Venkatramana were spinners. So Kukupura ball, we were in the nets. The typical Bishan Paji was managing the other areas. Right. So suddenly he came, he said, son, is the ball turning? I said, no. He said, give me the ball. The first ball he bowled, the ball turned huge. Right. Then me and Ramna were just coming and trying to push the ball. We're trying to push the ball, nothing happening. So onto the bat, so comfortably the batsman were playing. So he came and then bowled, turned so much. Then he said, in his own style, he said, you have to turn the ball. The ball is not going to turn for you. So I didn't have, yeah, but when he said that, we didn't understand. But like Joey was saying, he had such a beautiful action. Closest step was one step behind. We were trying to put so much effort to turn the ball. We were going right away, straight in,
100%.
running quicker, and we were trying to push the ball.
100%.
And then I met Ravi. We were in England. Ravi and me were watching Bishan Paji bowl, and he loves to bowl anyway. Bishan Paji loves to bowl. He takes his challenge. He has been bowling, never gets tired. Ravi and me were watching. The same thing, he was beating the bat, then he was getting that loop, turn, everything. And I said, don't look at him. We look like idiots.
Yeah, since you mentioned this, I'll give you a
the
small...
skill they improve.
Yeah.
But only thing you can learn is the regularity of the ball, very good finish. And it was like, 6 for 12 in Chandigarh on a slow, low wicket. I had to bowl quick to get that. We had Irwani, we had Gopal Sharma. They flighted the ball as much as they could, never got a wicket. And he was a match adjudicator. So he said, okay, son, I'll give you this 10. Next time you bowl this, you're not going to get the man of the match from me.
In spite of getting 6 for 12. And I can completely believe it. I can completely believe that because he inculcated in us a habit, me and Rahul Sangvi, a habit that even in a 50-over format, whether you're bowling the 48th over, you should have a silly point and a slip.
Yeah.
That was the way we were taught to get hit.
Yeah.
So that was his idea, and I can completely agree with you because we were in Lords and Paji was big by that time. Rahul Sangvi and me were bowling in the indoor nets at Lords. So I was standing and watching. Rahul bowled, the wicketkeeper collected it around the stump height, collected it 3-4 balls. Paji bowled, he was collecting it like that. After a while, Rahul said, "Aap hi Ranji Trophy khelo, main nahi khelunga."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had the skill. They talk about Prasanna, they talk about everyone.
Oh,
they had,
exactly.
And they worked for years. They could bowl that. But they always wanted you to flight the ball, but they were not able to tell you where to release the ball. Paji always said, okay. He said, come, have a good tada, use your shoulder, build your shoulder. And we can't go like, nobody should compare. We had our own style. Right? You had your own style. Like, why I'm saying this, because you and Joe had a very good jump. When somebody wanted to hit over or mid-off or they were caught at mid-off. Right? Or when they tried to hit, they were caught at point.
Correct.
Yeah, because that came naturally. That came naturally. But unfortunately, we had bad phases where too much of coaching, and then they wanted us to bowl according to how they wanted. Like you're talking about Joe, right? And you always attacked. Like whenever you played under VVS Lakshman, the best came out from you. He never told you, and you always wanted to be aggressive when you bowled because your job was to pick wicket. That was your style of bowling. Right. You also had always bowled with a short leg and a silly point. Right. And you had the trajectory where you guys, whenever you bowl little leg and middle also, you had the drift. Because you ask Amal or you ask anybody, on commentary they were telling this. Like when they were speaking about spinners and when they were commentating for Ranji Trophy matches, they were saying this is what used to happen. So if they would have left us alone, it would have been different. They didn't want, they changed, and then they didn't support. Right. Then they made you attacking bowlers into defensive bowlers.
Correct. 100%. 100%.
I think,
Skill was good. People adapted. We played on matting tracks. We played on turning tracks. We played on good tracks. You adapted because you were a bowler. You were thinking about how to go about. You had that power. Then you were supposed to pick wickets. You picked wickets in all age groups to come to that level. That's where, like I said, captain. I was fortunate. Azhar would never tell you anything. He used to just tell you both what you want.
Yeah.
Your field, don't give too many runs. Just bowl. Right. So when you or somebody played, it was different. When you captain for Railways, it was different. So that's why I feel the captain would have given you your first preference. And if that was not working, then if you came in, you would have been different. That's why I feel captain is always the guy who has to have trust in his spinners.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if the captain doesn't give you what you want, because it's the bowler who's trying to get the man out, it's not the captain who's trying to get the man out. Similarly, like when we are sitting out as bowlers, we don't tell the batsman you have to defend or you have to play a cover drive of this ball. They do as to what they see is right for that situation and the ball. So I completely am with you, because this has been such a huge topic, because I've always felt you benefit if you have a captain who understands spinners. A captain can make or mar. I still remember, we're not going to name Joey Bold for the first time in the 47th over in a challenger game. For the first time in a challenger game. So it doesn't help. And for me, again, that was something which I wanted to bring about as well. You played under lots of different captains. What were those qualities, as you said, apart from the fact that they gave you the ball and said whatever you want to do? What were the other things which made a captain a bowler's captain?
See, like I said, I played the age of 16 or 17 when I played Ranji Trophy. So Narasimha was there, but I would hardly bowl because there were 3 spinners. So I would just get a couple of overs. But they were turners, because I could bowl line and length. So I could survive to be part of the team. Then Azhar, that's why I keep telling again and again. I've been fortunate, right? Azhar, I played all my cricket under Azhar. Just one series I played under Saurav Ganguly. Otherwise, the rest of the whatever cricket I played under Azhar. Azhar understood me, right? So that's what, like, guys like you had to play under different captains. And then we beat Australia in Calcutta, right? The whole of Australian team, they were at the pub in the downstate. They were in the pub. So I was fortunate to talk to Shane Warne. I asked him, Shane, how good is Mark Traylor as a captain? He said, yeah, he looks very cool. He gives you the first choice. As a bowler, you have to set your field. You have to plan the batsman. You have to keep bowling there. You bowl well, you bowl bad, he doesn't say anything, right? Once that you're doing that consistently, then he gives his field. And you are supposed to bowl according to that field. I would rather have a captain like that than captain wants to bowl straight away in whatever way he wants. I still remember, you had that match in Australia, Kookaburra ball. You wanted your field, but they never gave that field. When 2 spinners were sweeping, because I was watching that interview, Langer and Hayden, they said, yeah, because they know once you get your rhythm, you'll be dangerous. So they were just attacking, but nobody supported it. Whenever we wanted that field, they never gave that. That's why I'm saying understanding between the captain and the bowler has to be spot on. And especially spinners, you're bound to get hit, right? But you can still take wickets. You can be match winners. So again, I'll come back to that. So I was fortunate. I was fortunate to have somebody like Azhar who understood. So he knew when to bring me on. He knew when to take me out of the attack. So you could come and talk and tell you, okay, take a break. We can come back. So it always made you relax. And you know that you're going to bowl at some time.
Yep.
That's what we needed. That's what we needed. And now, like you said, nowadays it's more of 4 overs. 4 overs, you can't judge anybody. Even 10 overs, you can't judge anybody. So if you want to judge somebody, it has to be right from your 19 days, longest spells, and picking wickets at that level. So from there, you can prolong your career.
Joe, your thoughts, because you also played under 3-4 captains, and as a bowling coach, you understand it really nicely for an international team. Your thoughts now on all these topics now that you've become a selector.
No, I think leave the last word part. I think
I'm saying that because sometimes when you're judging a player, you have to see all these things as well, isn't it?
I think
That's the reason.
To begin with, I played under Azhar, Sachin, Saurav, Ajay Jadeja, Anil also, I think it's what I have tried to develop is the trust between a captain and a player, and a captain and a spinner, rather I would say, not a bowler or a player. Captain and a spinner needs to have a lot of trust. At times, vice versa, you need so much cushioning. Also, the role of a coach will come into picture because that is also very important. It's not only the captain or a coach. In fact, the skill set. At times, captain may miss out of important fielding positions. But coach, as a coach, he sits outside or look holistically what sort of how he's bowling. As he's closer to the monitor, he keeps understanding what is exactly where we can set up a field. We can always communicate, send communication. It's not that we cannot send communication, right? Even in T20, every over the communication goes through from boundary line. From the coaches, they relay the word. Even during the over also, they relay the communication, right? So what I looked at is having a good rapport with Azhar, good rapport with Sachin, good rapport with Saurabh, good rapport with Anil. So I did, a few games Rahul also did. So I finally, eventually, what I wanted at times, maybe 10 to 20%, I would say I didn't get it. But majority of the time, I got it, what I want from every captain as well. See, because if you look at the best thing came from different captains when I played my performance. The best came for me in a ODI cricket in Kenya against South Africa. 5 for 6. That field, Karthik, I think probably, the team field, I would say, that's how they've been encouraged. Even in a club cricket or a club match, we had slip and short leg, slip and gully to bowl on, right? Yeah. So that sort of a mindset you come into this, then obviously your captain also knows that he's even a couple of boundaries here and there, he won't be worried, right? Yeah. Same thing with, aggressiveness of Saurav we saw in test match. We were also part of the test match in first test in Bangladesh, right? We were in a situation where, we struggled. We got a lucky partnerships, it happened. And second innings, we could bowl them out and we scored the runs, right? On that scenario, and Saurav from there, he really took off, changed the dimension of players' mindset, right? Not the coach's mindset, I'm saying. Players' mindset need to be more aggressive, need to be more positive in looking, even if you give runs, doesn't matter, but look to take wickets, look to pick wickets. That sort of aggressiveness started in the Indian cricket, or probably he was the one to bring the change in the mindset.
Yeah, for me, when I look at spin, and again, it'll come back to that same topic which me and Chicha had with everybody. It's always been about the bowler. The bowler should get the first preference for a long time because he's the one who's trying to. The bowler knows the plan of the team. So in his own mind, he's the one. Like you have to chase 350. You allow the openers to do what they want. You don't constantly send feedback, isn't it? So similarly, once the situation is there, the spinner needs to understand that, look, this is what I need to do. And you need to trust that spinner given his qualities or whatever. And I think that's how you allow a bowler to flourish, obviously at the international level. But what I'm asking is, from a coaching point of view, from a developmental point of view, how do you inculcate that? Because even a captain is going to be young, who's captaining a young spinner. How do you make a spinner mentally strong just by coaching and talking about all these things? It's not just about international cricket; it's about young players as well.
I think
under 19s. I'll just get back because under 19s and junior cricketers. I think camp should be less for them, right?
Okay.
For camp, there'll be one coach who will talk to them. Don't send them to many camps, which is happening in India. You have a zonal camp, then you go to NCA, then you got a special NCA camp. There's so many and different coaches, right? So that to change that mindset, I think people are giving so many things which these guys are not able to absorb what we're talking. So I think that has to be cut down. And like we spoke about, encourage them to bowl for a longer time with attacking field. Okay, short leg or slip, at least have a slip point or a slip, and then one mid on up, and then just see how they go about. Once you get used to that, like you're talking about our captains who never gave you, right? Now you had to bowl according to, so you adopted to that. Then you adopted that bowling in the nets. You could have your plan, tell the batsman this is what the field you got, and you bowl there. So present they don't have much because we are more into technology. The technology is there. People want to show you what you're doing, but they have to understand when you show them. For me, junior levels should be more of day games. Right.
Okay.
Under 19, you got World Cup, so they're going to play white ball, 50 overs. The T20, they come only after they play certain level.
Yeah, this is something which me and Joe spoke about as well.
Absolutely. See, because according to me, because Karthik, whether you go to NCA, whether you go to ZCA, the spinner needs to know, and more so, the coach needs to know what he's communicating, to the young guy. Tomorrow, he might get into any of the situations, any of the format, but he inculcate the right things. I mean, right things in the sense like you need to spin the ball, boss. Finally, whatever you do, you need to spin the ball. If that insistence focus more towards that, a particular player, be it leg spinner, be it off spinner, or be it Chinaman bowler, anyone for that matter spinner, it comes constantly from the zonal academies to the NCA to the state coaching and to the age group coaching. So everyone is talking only one language. There is no confusion in that. That centralized coaching has to happen. Or centralized communication needs to happen. See, today everyone comes and everyone wants to play a cover drive. Nobody wants to play a sweep shot like me, what I played every time when I saw the transfer, right?
First ball, he tried to sweep in Panaji and got bowled to me.
So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is we all have made so many errors. But when you look at back and then you never had anyone to back you, right?
Yeah.
You never had anyone that much equipped at that point of time. We used to learn from each other, right? The reason why we got along so many years is we learned from each other. Your best things, Raju's best things, Anil's best things, Rajesh Chauhan, Hirvani's best things, Sunil Subramanian's best things, Ramna's best things. So these are the things which we have learned, not only playing against each other or playing together, seeing them what they bowl, how they bowl. So these are the things need to be inculcated or communicated to the coaching levels at all stages.
It's a great thing you mentioned because I'm glad you brought that topic. For me, every time I looked at every spinner around the country when I was playing, be it a young spinner, I always used to think, this guy has got so much qualities, I have no quality. Every bowler, trust me, whether he was bowling at National Stadium or some random net bowler would come, I would look at him and say, Karthik, you know nothing, you've got nothing, man. This guy is so good. Was that ever your thought process growing up, the kind of competition around you? Did you ever feel a bit of a complex that you're not good enough? I always had that complex.
No, not me, because we went through that process, right? Under 15 state, under 15 zone, then under 19 state, under 19 zone, under 19 India, right? So you started doing well. So when you saw somebody to go further, you were supposed to perform. I'm not saying better than him. For your team, you do well. He is good. He is performing. You have to appreciate that. When he is performing well, they are also trying the hard. They are also trying to win matches for their state team. So I'm playing for my state. I want to do well. We want to win games. So you have to appreciate. And then see the self-confidence. Once you have that self-confidence, if you're not picking wickets, you know that you're going to control the game. Right. Came naturally because you play longer games. You went through, like I've been saying, you went through all these processes, which was good. So nobody was there to disturb you during that age group. Like I said, only a manager. There were no coaches that time, which made things easy. And you being the captain, you had to think about the field placements or whatever. So you were always there doing. So sometimes this captaincy brings the best out of you. And then you had your own small meetings. And once the game got over, you never ran away from the dressing room, right? Nobody had a drawing table. You could just discuss with the captain, vice captain, bowler. After you finished everything, you went back. So you thought what you were supposed to do. So thinking on your own was a priority that time. You had to think how to get a batsman out. If you are not succeeding, then you always had a wicket keeper or you always had a senior member who were good enough to tell you how to go about it. Right. So nowadays, I think probably because they're more into camp, they're more into gadgets, they're more into the technology. So it's become like a spoon feeding. Right. When you say something, they're not willing to listen. They say, no, my coach told me, that's why I'm doing that. Yeah. So like Joey rightly said, one coach, one trust, who will be given, like if you are there, they should give enough time for that coach to work with you. You should feel comfortable with him. Whatever happens, the other coaches should not feel bad that you're going back to your coach. So that's why in the 2001 series, John Wright, when we all were there, right? He called me and told me. He said, I don't know anything about spin bowling. But if you have a mentor, if you have somebody who's a guru, you can always go back, discuss with him, and try to improve and come back. At least he was good enough.
Yeah. But I think, Raju, I mean, you are really spot on actually. I think he has told every left-arm spinner or every spinner the same things.
Yeah. Yeah.
because Joe, now you have fast bowling coach and a batting coach and a fielding coach. Till the time we finished playing for India, we just had a coach.
Yeah. No, you didn't have.
We just had a coach. I think later on we had Venki as our bowling coach, but that was again for fast bowlers. Me and Bajji never had a spin bowling coach. And spin bowling coach, I don't mean that he has to teach you technique. But sometimes you want to come back to somebody, just like you mentioned. You're sitting out. And possibly as a bowler, I have taken a short leg instead of a silly point or a silly point instead of a short leg. And you feel possibly this is the time that rather than having this, do something else. I think those are the kind of things which you need to discuss rather than somebody trying to teach you technique at international level or any other level.
You know, Karthik, you opened up a solid story. I think I have to share this because only 3 of us are here. My coaching assignment with Bangladesh started, finished for about almost 2.5, 3 years. It was so interesting. We played a first test against Australia and we won the test, right? When Mushfiq Rahim, when we had a meeting with spinners, we used to have, that's how it was new for me, that spinners meeting, fast bowlers meeting, batsmen, right? So in that meeting, I did mention to Mushfiq Rahim that, okay, Mushi bhai, the moment Nathan Lyon comes and he bowls you first ball, he will bowl with slip point, short leg, backward, and mid off, down, and everything. So I said, first ball, you sweep him, slog sweep, right? First ball, slog sweep. Next ball, step out, hit over, mid off. Next ball, he'll bowl short, cut, ball. All 3 balls, he got 3 boundaries, right? So out of 3 balls, after 3 balls, there was nobody inside the ring. Yes. The same thing, classic example is Shakib. Shakib was bowling to Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood in the first innings, 9th wicket. They had about 15 runs partnership. Shakib was bowling the batsman, for 2 overs, and he was bowling mid of the crease. Then I sent it on the boundary line fielder. Go and tell Shakib, bhai, go wide of the crease and bowl the same length, same line, let him bowl wide of the crease, right? He bowled 2 balls, 3rd ball, Pat Cummins left it because he thought that he's going to spin the ball. He left it and he got bowled. So what I mean to say is, looking outside, having a specific coach will always help a player. He's a star, he's a world star, right? But at the same time, if you give him backup support, it will be eventually better for the team.
Exactly. You don't have to coach them. You're just providing them with information. It's up to them to use it. Sometimes things are overlooked because you're in the heat of it. The coaches are in the confines and they look at it in a very different way. So, yeah, absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt you again.
No, that's fine.
So
it's a drawing room conversation.
No, when I went and told Atul Singh was the head coach, right? I said, Atul, I need to tell something. I said, Sunil, don't wait for my call. You just go and send message. That is your domain. You do it. This sort of understanding, which, I have to really appreciate the way the Bangladesh Cricket Board has given me, the full freedom to work with the spinners, right? And I was so happy to work for that long. Eventually we got the results also.
Correct. You have to be on the same page. Look, all of us are bowled with different balls around the different parts of the world. What are your thoughts on that and how spinners struggle and what would be your advice? Because Kookaburra is tough to bowl with, SG Duke's easier to bowl with, but you have to adjust.
Yeah. For me, I think Duke was good as a spinner. Like, we had these wickets. Initially it was uncovered wickets. Then the covered wickets came in. Wickets were prepared, so you could get extra bounce, right? Extra bounce. I'm not talking about too much turn or whatever. You always had that extra bounce, and it was sitting in the hand. Kookaburra, because we could bowl with Kookaburra, but we hardly had any match practice, right? And then we never used that ball in India.
Correct.
Duke, SG almost, Duke and SG are the same.
Similar.
SG came in, so for you and me or any spinner, so for us, for me, it was always comfortable bowling with SG or Duke. But the same thing I asked Shane Warne, because Shane Warne is so used to bowling with Kookaburra. The moment he tried to bowl with SG, because he had that extra rib, always a cut in his hand.
Yeah.
But comfortable bowling with Dukes in England.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you played a lot of county cricket, right? So you had they used to give you choices, right? Duke and what is the other ball?
Readers.
No, just Dukes. No, Duke.
You both were playing. Which one did you like, the Duke or the Reader?
No, Dukes and Readers are very similar. For me, it was not for me, any ball with a bit of seam is what I wanted. And I can imagine the former players, slightly before you as well, they used to bowl with Sonics. Can you imagine bowling spin with Sonics? With that shiny peel off
Glazy,
sort of glaze. Yeah, can you imagine bowling? Grays as well in Pakistan. So Kookaburra was fine. Kookaburra was fine to bowl as long as it was a new ball. The problem was that once it became 15, 17 overs old, you felt as if they had marked it with a sketch pen. There was no seam left. So as a spinner, you're struggling. And especially for a finger spinner. Always
slip from your hand.
I think Karthik put it rightly. Again, Raju said adaptability, right?
Yeah.
We have been born and brought up with SG Test. Suddenly you bowl with Duke. Suddenly you bowl with Kookaburra. Suddenly you bowl with Readers. But how long you're going to do that, right? If you're going to do it for a longer period in particular format, you get used to it. If you're not going to play only one series in that particular 1 month or 2 months, again, you know that you're going to come back and play with a different ball. Again, it's the adaptability and how much time you need to go before the series to use this ball. Earlier, they never used to get an opportunity like this. At least nowadays, before the series, 15 days or 3 weeks, you get particular ball to get used to it.
That's why, Joe, that's why I always again tell you again same thing. You and when Murli played, you never had too many side games. We were fortunate.
Yeah, they used to. Correct.
Test matches, 7 side games.
True.
So you're not just sitting. You're not just sitting on the bench. So you're playing. So you had match practice. Later on, I see matches became more. Scheduling has become so tight. Difficult to have practice games. Right. So adaptability those days. First match we never did well, but second, third match we always did well when you went out of the country.
No, Kookaburra is a tough ball to get adjusted to. Because again, you speak about in Australia and places like South Africa, you want to bowl a lot more of overspin. And with that Kookaburra ball, the way we all used to hold the ball for a finger spin, it was always tough to get that because it started slipping out of your hand by the time you got the ball in your hand. So it's not easy. You're always judged based on what you do. But the thing is, you don't have enough time because I still remember there was a time when they brought Kookaburra into the Dilip Trophy. Courtesy Lakshman and Mohammad Khair, they said, our bowlers struggle on foreign track. But the thing is, even that ball, we saw only on the morning of the game.
Yeah.
We are not using it for practice. There were no Kookaburra balls for practice.
Because you didn't have enough work with the balls. That's the reason.
Sorry, Joe?
I said you didn't have enough balls to get used to practice.
Exactly.
And the balls were expensive, right? Murli, the balls were very expensive.
Very expensive as well. Correct. Absolutely. Guys, you guys have always had long careers, but hardly any injuries. What was the success for that? Because many spinners have struggled. I have struggled. Many spinners have struggled. You guys were, by God's grace, injury-free. How did you manage that?
I think you can hear my noise.
Mine was only in the end when I became a little old. Overconfident. I was never used to lifting weights. Yeah, but which you are supposed to do. We only thought that we were fit enough because Bishan Paji was our coach in 1990. The amount of running he made me do, I survived for another 6 years. Then Madipa came in. Madipa made me run so much in South Africa, so I survived for another 6 years. Yeah, jokes apart. Yeah, in the end, probably cricket was changing as you grow a little older, right? You need that strength, right? And I was, like I said, being a captain, we had that privilege. We could come little late, and when others were training, you just relax. Right? All this changed when we came to the 2001 camp. The way fitness levels changed.
Yeah, yo-yo test, bleep test.
The first day they make us run 5 rounds, right?
Yeah.
Rounds, and then after that they made the beep test, and then they asked you to sprint, and both the legs were gone.
2 beep tests. There were 2 beep tests in one day. I remember.
Yeah. Hey, you remember where it was? Asia Cup.
Then I realized, Joe, this is not a cup of tea.
Asia Cup camp in Pune, Paji was
Pune Gymkhana, correct.
Hero was there, we were all there. So, but I say,
and the bleep test was over a slope. So once you were running up, and once you were coming down.
I think fitness levels, the amount of cricket which is being played now, you got power cricket, and probably, like I said, that time you were not supposed to lift weights. If I ask anybody with their own body strength, Bishan Paji and all, they said, no, you have to squeeze their socks, or you go wash your clothes. They had their own style. But I think for me, injury was very late in my career when I was just retiring. It was a bad one, but then luckily, already all these physios or all came in. So the treatment came in, physical sports treatment. So got away, but I think till then, like you said, we were okay. More into long distance running, longer spells, and like I said, I never put on weight. So that was, again a plus point for me.
Correct.
Like you said, thank God we never injured, but training was quite hard. We would train. Like people always said that we look very jolly, but on the field you can't. The people always told me that I made too many friends. So they thought that I was only there to make friends. Making friends.
No, but Chicha, you're the most loved man on the planet. You are the most loved man on the planet.
Yeah, but we worked hard for it, right? We also work. We don't show where we work. We all do that, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have survived for so long.
Correct.
I think by and large, the fitness awareness came, especially, having Sri, Anil, Venki, Rahul, the idea of fitness started, when we played together for the first time in 95-96 tour in England, when we came back, and, that was a thing. That was the time we all talked about we haven't won Ranji Trophy after 83-84. I mean, this is the time where we need to win Ranji Trophy. For that, what are the stuff we need to be fit first to win Ranji Trophy. It's our 5 of us players' responsibility to ensure that we put the right fitness perspective to the rest of the players, so that we speak everyone the same language apart from our skill level. So, I was so blessed to have these 4 players alongside with me, because that had became a sort of a routine in my life, even after not representing country also, because I played quite late till the back end of my career in first class cricket. But that's all because of the injuries, less pre-injuries. The reason was doing fitness during the off season, train well, don't do skill, but at least you train 3 times a week, so that you know that you've kept your body shape very well. And come the season, that you straight away reduce the training part and then get into the skill routine part. So that was the stuff which eventually helped me to become a better fitness or a risk-free injury career.
Interesting. See, for us as spinners, we've always spoken about the mindset of a spinner. Skill is there, obviously, but the mindset has to be strong. If you've got all the skill, but if you don't have a big heart, then it's always been a problem. And thankfully for all of us, Bishan Paji was a great motivator. But in spite of that, it doesn't mean that you're not going to go wicketless. There are times when you're bowling well, but might be hit for a few shots. And also, from a point of view of what is happening around you, what would your advice be to youngsters and bowlers coming up when you talk about the strength of the mind?
Yeah, just because you don't get wicket in a match doesn't mean you're bad, right?
Yeah.
You might not get wickets in a couple of matches, but the way how you bowl, so you have to be confident about yourself. So if you're not getting wickets, sometimes you beat the bat 100 times, but you won't get wickets. The next day you might bowl long hops, still end up getting wickets. Right. So it's like, we shouldn't judge ourselves by a match, one match or two matches. We all, like I said, once you have that natural talent, you're working hard for it, you're good enough to play for a longer time. So mental strength is like, don't overthink. Yeah, setting goals.
I think it's a tough one. It's a tough one because for a youngster, he's going to feel, I've not taken wickets.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to look at me and say he has not gotten wickets, or even for that matter, now, more so now, in the recent past, when you look at the kind of field sets which they have, you just have to hit the bowler once and they push them back. What would your advice be? What would both your advice be to the bowlers who have to undergo that?
I think let Joe start off, because Joe has been involved now. So I'm a little older type. I'm not involved too much with youngsters nowadays. I think Joe will be a better guy.
No, sorry, I missed out because someone was trying to reach me here.
No,
so Joe, what I'm saying is that we talk about mental strength, and for us, mental strength has always been about taking a hit, or for everybody goes through that. Nobody is you can be a BMW and a Rolls Royce, but still you have to go for service every now and then. So from that point of view, what do you tell young bowlers when you talk about mental strength, going wicketless for a few games? It plays on the confidence of a young player, isn't it? How do you coach them, or how do you mentor them? What do you tell them?
I think basically you need to convince that the player, if he gets hit, it's going to be either boundary or a 6. It's not going to be 5, or it's not going to be 7, or it's not going to be 12. Whether he hits 120 yards, 150 yards, it's going to be 6. Whether he hits sweep shot, reverse sweep, it's going to be only boundary, right? That's sort of a mindset when the player starts thinking about it, right? So I would start talking about his tactical point, his temperamental point, and technique. Anyway, he has a technique, right? That's the reason he would be playing a particular level. So to build your tactical point, you build your temperamental. You need a coach. You need someone senior player to really understand about every time when he get into that situation. Maybe it's a tactical move. You get hit, but you know that you need to get a wicket. By temperamental, test your patience of a batsman. Obviously, you will come back. Bottom line is to pick up his wicket. These are the things time and again we introduce to the player from the coaches. It's going to be only benefit to the players, because at times we all players need a backup support. We rely on some backup support at some point of time, especially when you're playing your competitive cricket.
Yep, correct, absolutely. Players generally talk about the sense of feeling which you get from a certain bowler or a certain batsman. Say, all the bowlers used to say when Viv Richards walked in, you would already be thinking, oh, we have to bowl to him. But there are also times when the batsmen are down in confidence. As a bowler, do you feel that was a mind game you guys always thought about, playing mind games, and also sensing, like an animal can sense that the man is fearing that animal? Similarly, as a bowler, could you sense that this batsman doesn't fancy me, or today possibly is not in that kind of a rhythm? Would you say that you guys did that well?
Yeah, the nervousness, right? Anybody, as a bowler or a batsman, when they come in, they're all nervous. The best example was Attappattu. Attappattu, when he started his career, he got a lot of runs in Sri Lanka, but when he came here, you could see that nervousness. Any bowler who had the ball in his hand could get him out. Right? So like that, in domestic cricket also, initially there'll be a lot of players who are very shaky. You have played, you have seen, they're very shaky. So that's the best time to get them out. But people like them, if they survived initially, they could go and hit tall scores. Like, in domestic cricket, we have seen a lot of guys who are very good players of spin. So that initially you can make out. You're uncomfortable because you played so much. So that's the time, like we have been talking, you're planning yourself. And people always told you, when you played, and the fast bowlers are bowling, you're supposed to see where he is strong, front foot player or back foot player, or cuts the ball. So that was a preparation for you in those days, right? But now cricket has changed. Like we are talking about covered wickets. Wickets are more conducive to fast bowlers because they leave a lot of grass, where people are more, they're more aggressive nowadays. Right? So that they want to hit. field placements have changed. So adaptability, like Joe said, adaptability is very, very important. Yeah, but then as a bowler, we have to read the mind of a batsman, right? And try to catch it, because that's why I always felt, other than Azhar, whenever Jadeja captain, Ajay Jadeja, he was the one who would read the batsman, come to you, give that, no, he never, yeah, he never put pressure on you. He used to put it in such a way, he said, Chicha, ये से क्या 2 बॉल ऐसा दौड़ जाएगा, या सेट होने के बाद आउट थोड़ी करते हैं, चलो आउट करेंगे. That type of a captain, that type of an advice. We always like, no, we all talk, we have the ability. We all have the ability, otherwise you wouldn't have played that level. In that ability, you're supposed to use that to your advantage. Right.
That cricket sense.
Yeah, cricket sense. So that was good. Sometimes when you sit with your captains, or when you sat with your colleagues who are good readers, they all give you those feedbacks. So those feedbacks were very important. So like we said, the comfort and the skill what you had. So how we implement it. That we were successful against some players, not so successful against some players.
See, idea for me was to understand different players and their modes of attacking, right, to the intensity. That best of the players, a Brian Lara, or a Carl Hooper, or a Steve Waugh, or a Mark Waugh, or a Ricky Ponting, right? Or maybe Gary Kirsten for that matter. New Zealand, you go to Stephen Fleming, Nathan Aspel, right? When you come back to Sri Lanka, Arvinda was there, Sanath was there, right? Arjuna was there. So Pakistan, you go, Hindu was there, Saeed Anwar was there, Salim Malik was there, Ijaz Ahmad was there. So for me, I took the acceptance of that. Okay, I'm going to get played. That's fine, right? But I need to pick up a wicket. Bottom line is, I don't mind getting up a wicket, but I need to pick up a wicket.
That's a mindset which needs to be inculcated from a very young age. I think you develop it, obviously, as you grow with your experiences and stuff like that. It's this topic of left-arm spinners not being able to bowl to left-handers, or shouldn't bowl to left-handers, or right-arm off spinners to right-handers. I think it's just something which has been created, isn't it? Because all our lives we were always taught how to bowl to left-handers. And I think, Chicha, you've got Arjuna Ranatunga 6 times. So is this a myth, or is this something which has just become a norm right now?
I think it's just a myth. No, you have to be prepared. When you're playing, you're going to have these combinations. If you play against Australia, you're bound to have 4 or 5 left-handers. Sri Lanka had a lot of left-handers. Even at domestic cricket, when you play against Chennai, they had 7 to 8 left-handers. Right. So for everything, you have to be prepared. I think preparation is very important. Like you and me can't say that we'll bowl to a certain type of batsman. Right? And like you said, we have that field where you're creating the doubt in the left-hander when you bowl those nice lines. Which ball is going to go straight, which ball is going to come in. So you have to set your field and create the doubt. Right? Exactly. And like this part is, most of these players wanted to dominate you. Right? So when you're dominating, like Joe was saying, when somebody is trying to dominate you, they might hit a couple of runs, but then you have an option to get them out. So like mental preparation, and then you can't be, only thinking about bowling to right-handers. I think that's when the management, they feel that way. They feel that left-arm spinners are only good at right-handers, bowling to right-handers, and off spinners have to bowl when left-handers come in. Yeah, they were successful, but good spinners adopt, and then they were good enough to bowl against both left and right. It's just a mental preparation.
Yeah, exactly. And also sometimes when you bowl to a left-hander as a left-arm spinner, or a right-hander to a right-arm off spinner to a right-hander, if you're bowling that nice line, there's so many edges at play. You've got both edges, because you can have short leg at play, you can have backward short leg at play. If the ball doesn't spin, you have slip and keeper at play. And also the fact that even nowadays with the modern day cricket, even a deep mid wicket is a catching position. So even if somebody is beaten in the air and somebody plays a shot, you've got those kind of fielders who can be brought into play. So I always feel that is it something which can be changed? Is it something which should be changed? Because you see, it's just become such a big thing that left-hander आ गया, तो चलो off spinner को दे देते हैं. अरे, why can't a left-arm spinner bowl, man? Or
you know what, Murli? I think what Raju said is perfectly fine, because if I have to say that the '97 tour of West Indies, there was a challenge of to the bowlers put by our captain, saying that how many times you're going to take Brian Lara out in throughout the series, right? So eventually, I played 4 Test matches. I got 3 times out, Brian Lara. It doesn't mean that it's you cannot bowl to a left hand. I don't personally. I don't agree on that. But people say that like when left hander is batting, left hand spinner cannot bowl. You have bowled to too many left-handers. You have bowled to Saurav while he was captaining the country. You got him out. I have bowled to Saurav.
I've got Gilly 7 times. I've got Gilly 7 times, and he has hit me only for 2 fours.
So that's, yeah, Raju would have got, I've got Sanath out, I've got Arjuna out. So it doesn't mean that everyone is just forsaking, but why don't we deeply look into it? Okay, this is the guy who can pick up a left-hander, right?
Correct.
What are the areas of options he's going to hit him for a boundary or a 6, right? So again, I'm coming back to the adaptability of a bowler who can accept that, okay, if he's going to hit me for a 6 or a boundary, I am prepared for it. But eventually, bottom line is to pick up a wicket.
Correct. 100%. 100%, guys. Look, I can talk to you till we have a few more days and nights and continue to talk about spin. But the best way to wind
I have
up
to
is...
go now. It's my time for me to run.
Okay, go run, Joe. But before leaving us, your parting thoughts on just spin per se, and what would your parting message be to young bowlers and bowlers in general?
No, accept the challenge. See, when you pick up spin bowling, you have to be ready to accept the challenge, adopt to all forms of cricket, because now we've got 3 forms. Don't just think about one form or one format. Think about all the 3. Accept the challenge. Be prepared for it, and then work hard for it. It's like, cricket has become that much harder. You don't have much time. So you have to be ready. Like we said, physical fitness is very important, and your preparation has to be spot on. But once the season starts, there's no ending. There's no time to come back and then go back and play. It's a long season. So whatever sport, not only cricket, whatever you choose, you have to be best at it. Best at it in your own way. You will have obstacles, but you have to have your self-confidence, be on your own, and then have that confidence. And like we all say, have one mentor who you can always look up to.
Thank you, Chicha.
That's really true, because having one mentor, less confusion than everything. But I would definitely, my thoughts to any young spinners could be just, you have 3 T's, right? You have a technique, you have a temperamental, and you have a tactical. Those 2 T's, the second and third T's, need to be worked along with the coach's side. Whatever format you're going to play, that should be prepared very well prior to the format, right? That's the way you need to time and again visit all 3 T's. That's very important for every spinner. It's not only for young spinner, for that matter. Those are the things which I would, suggest from my thoughts.
I'm going to add 2 more T. I am going to thank you for your time. So that's TT. Chicha, thank you. See you in the com box. See you on the golf course. Joe, do a good job as a selector. Just remember that I am making a comeback because India needs test spinners.